The breaking news out of Lafayette.
The faces, the stares of, how did this happen here?
Dozens flee the Grand Theater after gunshot blasts.
And then we saw a lady with blood all over her leg.
Innocent people killed. Police confirm a lone shooter.
It makes us both furious and sad at the same time.
9 News This Morning has live team coverage now.
Just before 5:30, thanks for being with us. I'm Lauren Westbrook. We are following that breaking news out of Lafayette this morning. That is where we find a community in shock, and this is where it all happened. It's about 10 minutes away from the interstate there on Johnston Street at the Grand Theater in Lafayette. That is where we join our Matt Williams and Jaron Jordan. They are live at the scene of this tragic shooting. Guys.
Lauren, good morning to you. I'm going to bring Jaron Jordan in here in just a moment. Let's reset that scene for you. We are in front of the Grand 16 here on Johnston Street in Lafayette, where this horrible, horrible tragedy unfolded about 7 o'clock last night. It's a packed theater, 100 people inside, seeing the new comedy, Trainwreck. About 15 to 20 minutes into that showing, the 58-year-old accused alleged gunman stood up, opened fire, randomly spraying bullets throughout the theater. We now have 9 injured, 3 dead. That includes the shooter. The aftermath of that included the bomb squad out here checking his car. And actually, I was just told about 10 minutes ago that also includes a hotel room about 5 minutes from here as well, down I-10 and University. The State Police bomb squad was there making sure nothing was, of any danger out there either. They are all over making sure they are up to date on the very latest on this. The unfortunate part of this is that gunman turned the gun on himself, so we may never know what his intentions were or why. Let's bring in Jaron Jordan right now for the very latest on this, and actually someone who knows a little bit more about this as well. Jaron.
Absolutely. This is Jalen Furnell. He says that he was inside of the theater when this happened, seeing a movie next to Trainwreck. You're seeing Southpaw right next to the theater where this shooting took place. Take us inside what happened just after 7 o'clock and when you said that you heard those shots ring out.
Well, it was opening scene inside the theater. You hear 2 to 3 gunshots. After you hear those 2 to 3 gunshots, everyone, me, a little bit terrified, wasn't sure where the gunshots were coming from. So immediately you start to think, maybe I was just hearing stuff. About 10 to 15 seconds later, the sirens and everything starts to go off. Lights are flashing everywhere. Your heart sinks into your chest as you begin to think that, wow, I did hear gunshots.
Did you ever think that something like this could happen right here in Lafayette?
Not at all. That's the last thing I thought would ever happen when they said, let's go to the movies.
That right there. Let's go to the movies. A Thursday night in South Louisiana. You would think you'd be able to do that. We appreciate your time with us this morning. We are glad that you are okay, and appreciate your time with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Jalen.
I changed city, state, and country because of this incident, guys. Thank you for those live reports. We, of course, will stay on top of this on 9 News This Morning with extensive coverage online at WAFB.com. What an incredible account, Diane, from that witness, Jalen, really setting the scene for us of what it was like to be in that theater, to not know what's going on. It is at 6:56. Welcome back. We're continuing to follow that breaking news out of Lafayette. 3 people dead, 9 people wounded after a shooting unfolded at a movie theater last night. Matt Williams is at the scene with the very latest. Matt, we're waiting on a press conference from what I understand.
Yeah, we sure are, alongside Jaron Jordan, and it was originally scheduled for 6:30. Been pushed to about 7:15 now, Jaron.
Yeah, so absolutely, you definitely want to switch over to the big extra hour because we, of course, will be carrying that live as well as online at WAFB. But to just recap, we've been out here since overnight, really, and really tracking what happened here. We know that 12 people were shot, 9 injured, 3 people dead, including the gunman here at this shooting that happened inside the Grand Theater on Johnston Street in Lafayette. Just a sad, tragic story that we've seen in too many communities over the past months and really a couple of years, and now it's happening in our own backyard right here in Lafayette.
Here's what we expect to happen during the press conference. We're expecting, of course, to get the identity of this shooter. We're learning a little bit more about him in the last few hours. We're told he's transient, been in the area only since June, early last month. Actually, the motel room where the bomb squad was, where they swept his motel room, paid for that in cash. But again, very few details coming out now. We expect to learn more in the press conference. But right now, the picture, Jaron, being painted of just kind of a disturbed mind. And if there's a silver lining here, the good thing is isolated incident. This is not some active shooting going on. Of course, we have State Police Colonel Mike Edmondson joining us as we wait for the governor's press conference. You've been briefed What's the latest?
Well, what we're waiting on at 7:15, and it's the Lafayette Police Department. They're in charge of the scene right now. We relinquished control back to the Lafayette Police Department as our bomb squad went through everything last night. That was around 1:30. So if you look at the severity of what happened here, almost 13 shots that were fired, 9 people injured, 3 people are deceased, including the shooter. I think that was the main message to the public, was that the situation is calm at this point based on what happened.
From a law enforcement point of view, I mean, we've seen, like I said, we've seen these incidents at communities all across the country. To have it here in Lafayette, in Louisiana, from your point of view as a law enforcement official, what is that? How do you process that?
I guess it puts us in the real world out there, that you've got to be prepared for anything. To sit there and think, okay, that happened in another part of the country, another part of the world, no way in Louisiana, no way in Lafayette. But it could happen here. Now we've got to be prepared for that. We've got to sit there and work and make sure that we're prepared. The public certainly, they expect that and demand that.
They sure do. Colonel Mike Evans from the State Police, thank you, sir. Guaranteed. Lauren, we're far from done here. Press conference is scheduled shortly.
Yes, guys, thank you for your coverage. Stay with us through CBS This Morning and switch to WBXH for the Big Extra Hour for continuing coverage.